The Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to block a judge's order to return a man who was deported to El Salvador after an administrative error. Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia's wife, who's a U.S. citizen, identified him in this prison photo. Now she's suing to bring him home.
Kilmar, if you can hear me, I miss you so much.
The judge called his deportation illegal and ordered the administration to facilitate his return. But the administration's appealing and placing two of its own attorneys on leave, saying they failed to zealously advocate for the government's interests. Let's bring ABC's Alex Presha for more. Alex, on top of that, the government's also saying it's just not feasible to get him back to the U.S. now. So what's the latest on this case?
Yeah, well, so a lot of movement this morning on that case. So first, the Trump administration had appealed to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, basically to essentially put a stay on this judge's ruling to return Abrego Garcia back to the U.S. By 11:59 tonight. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals rejected that motion, and so now the Trump administration has appealed to the Supreme Court for the same. But essentially, they're arguing that this lower judge's ruling to return this man to American soil basically undermines the diplomacy authority of the president, and that's something that they say should not happen. But meanwhile, this judge says that Abrego Garcia should be brought back to the United States because, as Homeland Security has acknowledged, his deportation, along with those 200 men that the administration says were known gang members to that mega prison in El Salvador, it was done by mistake, and thus he should be brought back home. His wife, who is a U.S. citizen, now suing the administration, the judge siding with her. But Diane, right now there is no indication that the administration has started to engage with El Salvador about the potential process of bringing him back stateside.
So what are the next steps if the Supreme Court takes up this case?
Well, what's interesting here is that the clock is really ticking here, but thus far there is no indication that the Supreme Court will actually rule in this thus far, and so. You know, it's setting up another one of those big legal challenges between the administration and the courts. They've already lost, at least now, in 2 rounds of lower courts. And so now they're obviously appealing to the highest court in the land. But the other piece of this is, you know, one of the reasons why the judge's ruling came down so forcefully about bringing Abrego Garcia back stateside was the representation for the government in this case. A man named Arez Ravini, he was the immigration attorney for the DOJ, arguing on behalf of the government. The judge acknowledging, and really kind of appearing frustrated in court hearings on Friday before she made her ruling, that he didn't answer any of her questions. He struggled to answer many of her questions. That attorney himself saying that he didn't have a lot of the answers, acknowledging that he was going to be frustrating the judge that day. And based off of that, he has now been suspended, as has his supervisor.
All right, ABC's Alex Presha, thank you.